Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. In my channel, I want to encourage you to reason and think. Ask your own questions and draw your own conclusions. In this video, I'm going to show you evidence how NASA is deceiving you. And it's simple things that you can test and prove to yourself. With a little bit of reasoning, and I'm going to show you some proof. So for me, NASA is like a very expensive restaurant that just dishes up horseshit. Right? So some people are going to be offended, right? So if you are one of those, right, you say, well, I'm a Christian, go and read Isaiah 36 and understand what was happening in that situation. You see, a lot of people are eating their own dung and drinking their own piss because they've been bound by mental chains. So understand what the word dungeon, where it comes from. Being confined by a lord or a master. Right. So we need to stop being hypocrites and call a spade a spade. So some people will say, well, if you just swap out a few characters from the alphabet, right, it's still horseshit. I can say horses hit if it makes you feel better. It's horseshit. And we need to call a spade a spade. So you'll say, well, the meal looks dubious. Listen, buddy, it's horseshit. Right? If horses hit makes it better for you, then that's fine. So there's problems with what NASA's doing and what they're saying to you. So some people are going to flip-flop. They'll see that there's a problem with what's on the table, and then they're going to say, wow, they can't all be in on it. Listen, dumbass, look at what's on the plate. Look at what NASA's giving you to eat. It doesn't matter how many waiters they employ, it's what they're serving. Stop being a dumbass. You need to call a spade a spade. Right, so we're going to look at some evidence. We're first going to look at some things about the moon and how the moon itself helps us to understand that we're being deceived. And then we're going to look at some evidence from NASA. So let's get on with it. Look, the moon phases themselves tells you that you're being lied to. So if I got a ball, to get the moon phases, I would have to move the light around the ball. I'd have to keep the ball still and move the light around the ball. I can't move the ball because the light won't be right. So if I keep the light still and I move the ball around me, people say, well, there you go. There's the moon phases. Well, it's wrong because the light is on the wrong side. The light is wrong. So from your perspective, right, if the ball is orbiting you, the light is on the wrong side. So between new moon and full moon, the light is going to be on the wrong side. So it tells us that what we've been told or taught in the education system is wrong. Also, we can see new moon phases. We can see the full moon phases in the day and the new moon phases at night. Well, if you're on a ball and if the heliocentric model is correct, this would be impossible. Right? So you can see the sun and moon above the horizon. It tells you you've been lied to. So in a lot of these things that are presented to us, it's like a person who loses his car keys and forgets where they are. But they do the same with the moon. So how? So let's have a look. Here's an example.
It's the middle of summer. If we check the time, it's just after 12 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock midnight though.
So do you understand what's the problem? If they have the midday sun for a few months, then where's the moon? You should be able to see the moon every day for a couple of days, at least 16 days. Right? So we never look at how the moon is a problem and how the moon is going to expose the deception at the South Pole. Another question that you need to look at: can you see the night in a day at the same time at the same place? The answer is no. But this would happen if you were at the South Pole. So we know the South Pole is just horseshit. Right? So as the Earth orbits the Sun, right, you would see the night and the day. In other words, it would be sunrise and sunset within a few hours of each other at different places throughout the year. That doesn't happen. So we know the South Pole is a lot of horseshit. So what about the moon? You see, they should see the moon. So when they show you garbage like this and they're saying they're at the South Pole or the North Pole, it's garbage. So the moon should be orbiting in front of you for a couple of days. As the Earth rotates, you're going to film the Sun in front of you, look at your time. So how come in all the footage, time lapses from the North and the South, in the North Pole and in the South Pole, right? So we know that this isn't what you would see from your perspective, because your camera is level with the horizon. You should see the Sun bob up and down, and the moon will be bobbing up and down in front of you like this. So the spinning ball Earth is just complete bullshit. A lot of people who say, I believe we're living on a spinning ball, they don't actually understand it. It's just complacent compliance. I tell you, it's not hard to understand. No, the problem is you don't understand it. What a lot of ball earth believers have is just complacent compliance. Because they in a dungeon. It's a mental prison. And they don't understand it. They don't see what's happening. So NASA, we're going to have a look at some evidence that what NASA dishes up for you, it's an expensive restaurant and it's just complete horseshit. So I'm an artist and I'm going to help you to understand a few things. Then we're going to look at the footage from NASA. Look, we see in perspective, a human eye, right? So if you're using a camera lens, you'll say, well, the camera lens is a 50 mil. The human eye is more around about 45 mil. So everything is squared up. Nothing falls over. So you see things in proportion. So if here's a ball, if you see this ball in front of you, how far away must you be from the ball to see the ball? Well, you have to be the same distance. Right? So what does that mean? Well, if the radius of the Earth is 6,371 kilometers and NASA's orbit is 400 kilometers, could they see half of the ball? Could they see a quarter? No, it's impossible. use your mind, reason and think. So if this is a picture from NASA, right, this is a photograph, they have to be that distance, the radius of the Earth, to actually photograph that. In fact, whoever took this photograph should have been able to film the entire ball Earth. So let's look at footage from NASA, and then I'm going to show you how they've been deceiving you. Remember, the moon phases show us clearly that we're not living on a spinning ball, because the light is wrong.
The pictures nicely. It does cause a little bit of distortion, exaggerates the curvature of the Earth, but I like them because it kind of gives the pictures a more spacey feel when you can see the ISS and the window and the curvature of the Earth. So
let's look at the video footage. Right, so what you need to understand here is that he says he's rotating his camera, right? So the ball is above him. Then he rotates his camera. Where's the Earth? It's above him. Then he turns his camera around. Now where's the Earth? It's not above him. Right. It's upside down, but on the same side. And now the Earth is where? In front of him. Right. Then in parts of his video, it's back above his head. Then in other parts, it's on his left, then the ball is on his right, and then the ball is actually underneath him. Right. So this is trickery. So they're using footage that is filmed, the footage is genuine, and they're manipulating it. So how can you tell? Right. They're playing games here. It's because his footage is back to front. In his video footage, it's back to front. It's impossible for him to film. The environment is in, the cage is in. The cage is the right way around, but his footage is back to front. Because if he accidentally flipped the footage when he was editing it, everything in the container must also be back to front. Right? So, if he's in this position and he's filming the ball must be above his head. If he rotates his camera and turns his camera, the ball must still be above his head. The ball can't just come now and change from above his head to in front of him. Then when he turns his camera, the ball's always in front of him, no matter which direction he faces. Well, that's impossible. So this is NASA lying to you. They're tricking you. So I'm an artist, photographer, cinematographer. I understand these things. And when I see that footage, I know exactly what's going on. Then the ball can't be underneath him, so that if he looks to his left and to his right, then the ball's on top of him, right? And then what else do you see here? The moon. These guys from the ISS should give you unbelievable footage of the moon. You would see the other side of the moon, the top of the moon and the bottom of the moon. I say that the same side of the moon always faces the Earth. They should be able to photograph the back end, the top end. Right. Why is the moon always missing in their footage? And then his footage is back to front. So you need to think about this. So I'm going to show you some things, and I'm going to use a silver ball to help you understand that you're not living on a ball. We're going to look at the moon, and we're going to look at the sun, and we're going to look at light and reflection and shadows. So if here's a ball, there's the moon in front of you, and here's a yacht. The yacht is silhouetted. If you're on a ball and the moon is in front of you, you can only see the reflection in front of you if the moon is in front of you, if the surface is flat. Because if you're on a ball, where must the reflection of the moon be? It must be on the other side of the ball. If the earth was a ball, you would never see the moon and its reflection in front of you. But we do, which tells you the earth is flat. Now look at the yacht. It's silhouetted against the sun. Now the same applies to the sun. And you see the sunset, you see the left side and the right side, right? You see north and south. If you're on a ball, how could you see north and south as the sun sets in the west if you're on a ball? And if the sun is setting, this side of the ball must be black, must be silhouetted. So it's how we see light, shadow, darkness, reflections. So it's how we see light and dark. It's how we see reflections tells us we're living on a flat earth and that we're being lied to. So look, I want you to reason and think and draw your own conclusions, and I hope this video has helped you out. Cheers and thanks for watching.
The night is young, the mood is mellow, and there's music in my ears. Is Vic there?
Hello.
Is Vic there? Is Vic there? Is Vic there? Is Vic there? Is Vic there?